Thanks, John, for doing this. On the news of the day, when did President Biden learn of the Defense Secretary's cancer diagnosis?
He was informed today.
Any details on what his reaction was?
He was informed by the Chief of Staff earlier this morning, and I'm not going to go into any more detail than that.
So the president has known for, I guess, 5 days now that Secretary Austin was in the hospital, but he wasn't informed why?
He was not informed until last Friday that Secretary Austin was in the hospital. He was not informed until this morning that the root cause of that hospitalization was prostate cancer.
Is that because the White House knew and didn't inform the president, or because Secretary Austin chose not to share that with the president?
Nobody at the White House knew that Secretary Austin had prostate cancer until this morning, and the president was informed immediately after we were informed.
Okay. Last week, we learned that Jake Sullivan, I believe, found out about the fact that Secretary Austin was hospitalized on Thursday morning. So just want to clarify, are you saying the president found out a day later than the NSC did?
No, Jake was informed, our national security advisor was informed that Secretary Austin was in the hospital and had been for some time. He found out late Thursday afternoon, and he and the Chief of Staff, Mr. Zients, informed the president later that evening, early that evening, not long after they learned. They informed the president directly, Thursday evening.
We learned also today that Secretary Austin, when he went into the hospital for the first time on December 22nd, he knew he was going to be under general anesthesia. He knew he was going to be spending the night, and transferred authority to his deputy secretary. Was the White House informed then that the authority was going to be transferred?
No.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
There are the delegations of authority can happen. I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but it's not uncommon for the Secretary of Defense to delegate authority to the deputy, sometimes for very short periods of time. But I think one of the things that we're all going to want to learn from this is the notification process for that delegation of authority.
Is there an expectation when a secretary is indisposed or hospitalized and has to transfer authority that the White House will be notified?
Again, I'm going to let Karine take this one, because this really gets to the memo that Mr. Zients put out, and I think I'll let Karine talk about it.
So as you all know, there was a memo that was released today from the Chief of Staff, and the memo was sent to the President's cabinet on protocols for a delegation of authority. And so the memo does two things. I just want to lay that out for all of you. First, it asks every cabinet agency to submit in writing their current existing protocols for a delegation of authority they already have in place for review to the White House Office of Cabinet Affairs and the Chief of Staff by this coming Friday, January 12th. And second, in the interim, while the review of each agency's protocols is completed, the memo directs a set of robust protocols that cabinet agencies must undertake in the event of a delegation of authority. So that is what the memo says, those two really critical, important things. Again, this is something that we have said over the past couple of days, that the President believes that we have to have robust protocols and procedures in place, obviously, for across the cabinet, and this is what you're seeing from this memo.
So finally, who does the president hold responsible for this lapse? Secretary Austin, his aides, the chairman of Joint Chiefs, who clearly knew about this the day after the secretary was hospitalized?
I will say this. I mean, Secretary Austin put out a statement, and he took full responsibility for this. So I would refer you back to the statement. And Secretary Austin was very clear, and we appreciate that he has taken responsibility for this. But I also want to say that we certainly hope that he fully recovers and also gets back to the Pentagon. So I'll leave it there. But his statement was very clear the other day.